So, what really makes a great general? It's a question that has literally shaped the course of history. On the battlefield, just one decision can change everything. So, today, we're going to break down the essential ingredients that forge a truly legendary commander.
I mean, what's the actual difference between a good, competent commander and an absolute legend? Think about someone like Washington, or a tactical wizard like Rommel, or a modern strategist like Schwarzkopf. It's not just about being brilliant in a battle. No, it's about a rare, incredible combination of qualities forged in the heat of conflict.
And that word right there, synthesis, that's the key. This isn't just about having a checklist of skills. It's about a deep, fundamental fusion, the merging of a person's moral core with their sharpest intellectual abilities. Because when you're in the middle of the chaos of war, you absolutely need both to even have a chance. So, where does a journey like this even begin? Well, it's not with grand strategy or some complex battle plan. Nope, it starts with something way more fundamental: character. This is the absolute bedrock of command. Everything else is built on top of it. Just think about the stakes here. On one side, you've got George Washington. His integrity, his sheer force of will, was the glue holding the Continental Army together. His soldiers trusted him completely. And on the other side, Benedict Arnold. His compromised moral compass led to a betrayal that almost destroyed the entire revolution. It's a really stark reminder. Without integrity, leadership is just built on sand.
But character isn't just one single thing. It's more like a structure built on several strong pillars. You need the resilience of a guy like Rommel, who could take a massive punch and just keep on fighting. You need an iron self-discipline to stay calm when everything around you is exploding into chaos. And, maybe most importantly, you need humility, because the kind of arrogance that gripped Napoleon in his later years, well, it shows that hubris can be a general's most fatal enemy, for sure.
Okay, so you have the raw material of character. But raw steel isn't a sword, right? It has to be forged, and that forging process, that's experience. It's the crucible where all that potential gets hammered into cold, hard reality. And this progression is absolutely critical. Great generals aren't created in some lab. They are made on the ground. They start as junior officers, learning the names of their soldiers and the feeling of mud on their boots. Then they move up, learning complexity at mid-level command. And only then, after years and years of practical, often painful lessons, do they develop that high-level perspective they need to see the entire war. But here's the thing. Field experience alone is not enough. It has to be paired with a deep, theoretical arsenal. The greatest commanders are also the greatest students. I mean, they devour the works of strategists like Sun Tzu and Clausewitz, building the mental frameworks they'll need to navigate the pure chaos of war.
Okay, so we've got character and experience. Now we get to the third and maybe the most defining element, the architect's mind. This is all about mastering strategic acumen, the ability to see the entire chessboard, not just the next move. Let's just pause on this definition for a second because it's so important. Strategic acumen isn't just about winning a battle. It's about understanding why you're even fighting in the first place. It's that rare ability to connect military action to political objectives, to see how today's fight serves tomorrow's peace. A huge part of this is foresight. And look, it's not some kind of superpower, it's a skill you develop. It's the ability to synthesize these massive amounts of information, political, economic, enemy movements, and see a coherent picture of what's coming next. General Norman Schwarzkopf's plan for Desert Storm is a perfect example. His famous left hook strategy wasn't just about smashing the Iraqi army. It was about achieving the political goal of freeing Kuwait fast with as few casualties as possible.
And here is a truth that's about as unglamorous as it gets, but it is absolutely vital. You can have the most brilliant, genius-level plan in history, but if your army runs out of food, or fuel, or bullets, it is completely worthless. The classic cautionary tale here is Napoleon's invasion of Russia. His Grande Armée wasn't really beaten by the Russian army. It was defeated by starvation and the brutal cold. Logistics is strategy. End of story. All right, so we've built the foundation. We've got character, experience, and intellect. Now it's time for the final, ultimate test, putting it all into action when everything, and I mean everything, is on the line. This is decision-making under duress.
And I really want you to think about this for a second. Put yourself in their shoes. The battlefield is just a storm of incomplete, often contradictory information. It's what they call the fog of war. And in that fog, you have to make a choice that will determine the fate of thousands of people. How do you even do that?
Well, the answer lies in a process. A brilliant Air Force strategist named John Boyd developed what he called the OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, and act. The real insight here is that in any conflict, the side that can cycle through this loop faster than their opponent actually gets inside their decision-making process. You're not just reacting anymore, you're setting the pace and forcing them to react to you.
You see, great command isn't about avoiding risk. It's about managing it. Take the D-Day landings. The Allies didn't just cross their fingers and hope for the best. They identified every single major risk, from the German response to the weather, and they developed specific, frankly, ingenious strategies to deal with each one. They created a phantom army to trick the Germans, and even built their own portable harbors. It was a masterclass in calculated risk.
And all of this brings us to one of the most fundamental truths of warfare. No plan survives contact with the enemy. The moment that first shot is fired, the entire plan changes. So the true genius of command, then, is adaptability. During the Battle of the Bulge, for example, the initial Allied plan was completely shattered. Victory came from commanders adapting on the fly, fighting the battle as it actually was, not how they'd planned it on a map.
And that brings us right back to our central idea. A great general isn't just one thing. They have to be a master strategist, an intuitive psychologist who understands what makes soldiers fight, a meticulous logistician who can count every bullet, and a savvy statesman who always sees the bigger political picture. It's the synthesis of all these different roles that truly defines greatness. Which leaves us with one final big question. After looking at all of these components, the character, the experience, the endless study, the intense pressure, what do you think? Are the greatest leaders just born with these gifts? Or are they forged, piece by painful piece, in the fires of command? It's something to think about.